Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Catherine Robinson. Authorities in Thailand are racing against time and weather, hoping that rain won't inundate the cave before they're able to rescue the remaining 4 boys and their soccer coach. 8 of the boys are now in hospital after a second successful mission. Divers will go back in later today. And Barker reports from Chiang Rai.
Hidden from the cameras, 4 more boys, 4 new daring rescues, each one airlifted out. The hope today is that the remaining 4 boys and their coach won't spend another night in the cave. The second mission has boosted the confidence of the rescue team.
We were 2 hours faster than the first day. We expect that we will do even better for the next mission, and we will succeed 100%.
The boys rescued last night were in a better physical condition than the first 4 and were asking for their favourite foods. All 8 survivors are being kept in quarantine and are not allowed physical contact with their parents over fears they may have picked up disease or infection in the dark, damp cave. The plan has been to rescue 4 at a time, but there are worries about leaving one behind on his own and about the weather. The regional army commander has implored the rain god, Pra Pirun, to keep showing us mercy. As much as 200 million litres of water have been pumped out of the cave since this rescue began. That's the equivalent of 80 Olympic swimming pools. And with less rain falling than predicted, despite the heavy clouds, they're still managing to stabilise water levels inside. Navy rescuers cheered Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha when he visited the scene. What seemed impossible just days ago is so far an extraordinary success.
How many of you? 13.
After 17 nights in the cave, the last members of the soccer team may soon be free, ending a rescue effort involving thousands of people from across Thailand and around the world. Anne Barker, ABC News, Chiang Rai.
And Anne Barker joins us now from Chiang Rai. And 8 of the 13 trapped in the cave now free, as we just heard in your story. What more can you tell us of this latest successful mission, which was indeed shorter than the first?
That's right. The first boy walked out of the cave last night around 4:45 local time. That's 3 hours behind Sydney and the rest of Eastern Australia. That was a lot less than they expected. It was less than 6 hours, which is more akin to what some of the elite divers have actually been doing themselves. So they said the boys that came out last night were in a healthier, stronger state than the boys that came out the day before. All 8 of them are obviously in hospital now undergoing checks, and they are saying that it would have been 20 hours roughly from the end of yesterday's mission to the start of today's, assuming it was going to happen today. It takes about 20 hours to prepare. They say that each day they've done it, they've got more efficient, they've got faster both in the preparation and in the execution. Everybody expects that mission number 3 will start today. The big question is really whether they will bring out all 5 of those remaining in the cave, or whether they will stick to the plan of having 4 a day and then take 1 tomorrow. But certainly the rain is a big factor here today.
That was what I was going to ask you. We can see it falling behind you, Anne. Is there any suggestion that the authorities and the rescuers' hands might be forced on this, in that the rain is falling and they need to get all 5 out in one go?
I think it's really feasible that that could be the case, although we won't know for sure until there is some sort of announcement, which tends to be, a couple of hours at least, several hours yesterday after the mission began. But this rain today was very heavy. It was torrential when I woke up this morning. It lasted for quite a long time and it hasn't really stopped since. It's now very steady. So there's an awful lot of water here. There's no sign of it letting up. And that is a huge factor, because even though they're continuing to pump water out of the cave as the rescue mission proceeds, the amount of rain that's falling will potentially rise to a level that they can't pump it out fast enough, and that will mean the water level inside rises and will pose a greater hazard to those 5 remaining boys and their coach as they come out. Now, we did know, of course, that the coach was in a weaker position than some of the other boys a few days ago, and if that's still the case, then they're going to want to bring him out when the conditions are optimum, and that may dictate that today is the day.
We can see the low-lying cloud behind you. Is there any forecast for a let-up in conditions, or has the rain set in?
Well, certainly on the weather forecast I've been looking at until the end of today, it looks as if the rain could actually intensify this afternoon. It tends to be heavier in the afternoon than in the mornings here. Today is certainly the heaviest day we've had in the last 5 or 6 days. So there's no obvious sign that it will let up in the next few hours. It's difficult to know.
And just before we let you go, Anne, if you can just take us back to the boys that were rescued yesterday. You mentioned they're now in hospital, but they're in an isolation unit. Can you tell us about that and whether or not they've been able to see their parents?
Yeah, I've seen pictures showing the parents who are at the hospital, and so they've clearly gone to see whether their sons are among those that have been released and just what condition they're in. But they've been told they can't have any physical contact. They can't hug their own sons yet because they're in quarantine. They've had blood tests to see if they've caught any number of diseases, things like leptospirosis, melioidosis, which is a fairly severe soil-borne disease that can kill in the worst cases. They were tested probably for hypothermia when they first came out because the water inside the caves is very cold, and all manner of infections, bacteria and so on. When they get the all clear, assuming they do, then we're told that it will only be about 48 hours before they could be discharged. So with a bit of luck, the first boys who were rescued 2 days ago may well be out of hospital by tomorrow.
And that would be a great outcome. Anne Barker joining us from Chiang Rai. Thank you.
Yeah.